Like, ladies and gentlemen, they need no introduction. It's ThatOneRebel, yeah, woo! Welcome.
Hello,
Hi,
welcome.
thank you so much for coming on the show. This is very surreal to me. I
Really? How
believe,
come? I'm just
I,
an ordinary guy.
I believe that this is the first time ever that you have sat on the other side of the desk. Is that correct? Am I right there?
There was one instance where I was being interviewed, and that was by Jades, but it was on my own show. So it technically is an interview where I was being interviewed, but it wasn't. It was on my own show, so I don't know if that
I
technically
think this
counts. But
sort
I
of
guess.
counts. It sort of counts. But as far as like a different show, this obviously this takes the cake. Thank you so much for coming on. So, although most of us will probably know who you are and what you do, did you want to give us a quick rundown on the things that you do and what you're working on at the moment, just for those who aren't aware?
Sure, absolutely. My name's ThatOneRebel. I've been streaming on Twitch for 4 years, most prominently in VR chat. More recently, since of June, I've been doing more VTubing stuff. So this is also my VTuber model that I use with face tracking and all that stuff. Most prominently, I've been known for doing interviews in VR chat. I've been doing that for the last 2 years. I've done 273 interviews over the last 2 years.
That's crazy.
That's basically it. I just love VR chat. I love talking to people. I love interviewing people. I love to get to know people. And I think that's pretty much it.
That's a good rundown. So, to clarify, Rebel runs the talk show host not that one, Rebel, Late Night with Rebel, and
Late
they've.
Night with Rebel.
I can't believe 200. I was going to ask you how many interviews you had. 273. That is crazy. But you've enjoyed every moment of it. It's kind of what you've been so renowned and known for, and you've become the staple of, if someone says talk show, they think Rebel, because your show has been widely received and critically acclaimed for a long time. What made you first want to do like a talk show? What made you think this is the thing that I want to focus on? How did you get into it?
So, do you want the full story, like the long story? I can give you
Yeah,
a
of
short
course.
version or a long version.
You get more time than anyone as a special guest, so yeah, you're fine.
Okay, sure. So, my journey starts 4 years ago when I first started playing VR chat. I was a part of Team 5, which is a team that was run by PokeLol.
That's
the team
old
doesn't
school.
exist anymore in present day. But back then, they would do a podcast once in a while, like once a week or whenever Poke felt like doing it. And it was never like this. They never had a stage like this. It was like a very basic set 4 years ago. And we would have weekly sort of meetings and with the team, like off stream, and just discuss like merch ideas, branding, whatever. And I always thought about like, oh, I should do like a news thing, which is not a talk show, a news thing in VR chat. I wanted to do the news.
Interesting.
Like to talk about VR chat worlds, talk about like VR chat updates, because this is 4 years ago when VR chat updates were really random and sporadic, and we didn't like understand like what was being updated in the game. Now it's more public knowledge of the Discord and stuff and like Twitter. So I thought to myself, I could be that guy that is like, yo, VR chat update, yo, get the camera stuff going on or whatever. And I pitched this idea to the group, and none of them really were interested in the idea, unfortunately. However, I wanted to still do it, so I talked to a friend of mine at the time, Laughing Jack, who knew how to make worlds. I didn't. And he made me a set. I'd never actually used it before. It's like a newscaster stand with bunch of different, like a green screen room, a bunch of just like different setups, like a one-on-one type thing, like a couch like this, bunch of different, like it's a whole world, bunch of sets. Never used it once. And again, I pitched the idea. Nobody like was interested. They wanted to do other things, unfortunately. And then fast forward basically, until 2019, I met with Ladle, better known as, at the time, her name was Wife of Delivery Service. She changed her name to I'm Ladle now. And then her and I met at Neko Nights, again, a club that doesn't exist anymore. And we got talking, and really quickly on, we started like hitting it off. And she was like, we were both like, hey, let's do like a podcast, like talk show thing, Majiggy. I was like, I'm in, let's do it. I wanted to do this for 2 years. I've been waiting for this opportunity. So we started doing it together. And within like a week or two or whatever it was, I don't remember the exact time frame dates, but basically we started doing a talk show together, and she was the host, I was the co-host, and it was basically just like this. We have a desk here, a bunch of chairs, and we would have like a podcast, like 3 or 4 guests on, and it was like an instant success. Like, it was just like everybody was talking about it in 2019. They're like, dude, like, we got to go on Ladle's show and stuff like that, and I had a lot of fun. And then fast forward to about August of 2019, so we did it for like 4 or 5 months, whatever how long that time frame is. And then the show got canceled, doesn't exist anymore. And many people were like, hey, Rebel, you were the co-host on Ladle's show, why don't you run your own show? Like, I really like what you did on Ladle's show, and I want to see you do your own show. So fast forward to September of 2019, as silly as it sounds, I was listening to Shia LaBeouf Just Do It meme, and him just like yelling at the screen, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna depend on other people to like make stuff for me. I'm just gonna do it. So I sat in Unity, banging my head against the keyboard, and after about 2 or 3 days, I made a very simple set, nothing like this, like very, very basic set, and that's why I started doing interviews, and I just started pumping them out, almost every day, just interviewing people, and over time I got better and better at it. And then in last year, a year and a half ago, I got to commission Legends, a known VR chat creator, and I got the set that I have today. So that's my story.
Such a
That's
story.
how I got into doing interviews.
It's amazing how, as well, over the years that you've been involved in VR chat and the community and doing the streams, that like the groups have changed, and you mentioned Neko Knights is no longer a thing. The groups like Team 5 is no longer a thing. Things have changed so much over the years, but yet the talk show always carried on, and it always survived because you had a personal dedication to it. And regardless of what was going on externally, you were always able to focus on that, and you've kept it alive for so long. And I massively respect the dedication and time that you've put into it over all of these years, because if you hadn't, there would be no talk shows at all. And I mean, I personally watched many of your shows. I can imagine almost everyone in chat right now has seen one of the interviews from Rebel at some point. So yeah, like, just a big thank you to you for like creating this content for all of us to enjoy over all the years. It's been amazing to watch, and I'm so glad that did you partner this year, or was it last year? I think it was early this year you got partnered.
It was last year. So
okay,
I got the updated Talk Show World and like around my birthday, which is June 22nd, and shortly after my birthday I got the world from Legends, and then in August 9th specifically is when I got partnered on Twitch, so just over a year ago. Year and like a half, whatever. So
yeah, I feel like
and it was a huge moment.
Yeah, I feel like it's justified that people who brought something to the community get something back, So I'm really glad that you made it in the end. So you definitely deserved it. Yeah. So something I did want to mention was recently you mentioned your VTuber avatar, which looks amazing, by the way. And you've started doing a bit more like content away from the chat show at the moment, such as you've mentioned, VTubing at the moment. What are the plans for the future? Are you looking to change the direction you're going in? What are the plans in what you're doing?
So, as someone who's played VRChat for 4 years, I mean, it's still fun to like see new maps and stuff like that, but it's very sporadic, right?
Yeah.
Like you get like a good like adventure or horror map like once in a while. Typically, whenever I stream VRChat, that's not an interview. It's mostly just me hanging out by myself, talking to chat. I was a part of like the streamer lobbies many years ago. It's just not really for me anymore. I just want to like focus on what I'm doing. So that's why I started like randomly. I'll start playing like other games. Like I beat Subnautica recently. I had a moment where I was addicted to playing Dead by Daylight. I've been talking many times with other VTubers that don't even play VRChat. It's just like a breath of fresh air to like try something different.
Yeah.
And it's always exciting. But I still play VRChat on a regular basis. Even if I'm not streaming, I still get on to hang out with people. The future, though, to answer your question, is I'm going to be updating my talk show world. It's already being updated. So I'm still going to do interviews. I'm still going to do podcasts, but I'm going to start doing like different types of like game shows and stuff like that. Sort of stuff like that. Let's just say that.
Oh, I feel like we got a spoiler. Yeah, game
Stay tuned.
shows. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm actually excited for this. Oh, this is gonna be amazing. Yeah, I've always been thinking like, no one's really done the whole game show thing. I know recently TFM Johnny did a game show style YouTube video about 6 months ago, but apart from that, I've never really seen like game shows be a focus, and I love them. Like they're such a great thing to watch, and they've always been a staple of entertainment. So I'm very interested to find out how this goes in the future. Like I'll definitely be finding out more. That's awesome. I love that. I would say something I did want to ask you, just like over all the time and all the people you've interviewed, is there one person who sticks out from the crowd? Like, is there a single interview or person that if I say to you, what is a memorable moment to you, it comes to mind? Is there anything that you can think of?
It's always a tough question because there's just so many
There's been
people
hundreds,
I've interviewed. Hundreds of people I've interviewed, and I feel like every single interview is special in its own way. Like I can give some examples of like different interviews. It's hard to pick just one, so I'll just give a couple examples. For example, I interviewed Nags21, aka Joey Bagels, several times over the years. And for those who don't know who that is, he was one of the first, content creators of VR Chat. He started playing this game in August of 2017, and he was like the first, like, quote unquote, like YouTuber to really blow up. And back in the day, like his name, he was like, just think of like Brad Pitt or something like that.
Yeah,
like that sort of celebrity status, but
he
in VR
blew
Chat.
up. Like he's the reason I got into VR Chat. Like I wouldn't be here if I hadn't seen his videos on YouTube all these years ago. That's going back.
So interviewing him has always been a joy, and he's interested in doing another one at some point. Another person I can talk about is like Chips, aka Stealth RG. Again, another person that's been around for 4 years. Now he's more known for doing Ascension Academy and his roleplay stuff. There's that. There's shout out to like Autumn VR, a good friend of mine. Jade's. Team Up Johnny. I've interviewed Drumsy. Like it's just so many different people. Like I don't know. It's just really hard for me to like really decide. It's just every interview is like its own special moment in its own way, and it's always a blast. Another shout out to like a lot of the mutes. I've interviewed mutes on my own talk show, which is something different because I think one of the first mutes I actually interviewed was Chromia. And I remember, I'll never forget it. Basically, after I did the interview, people started telling me like, Rebel, why would you interview a mute? They don't even talk. And I'm just like, so? And like people would like DM me and be like, why are you spending time with people that don't even talk? And I'm like, why not? They have a story to tell. It doesn't matter if they talk or choose not to or cannot physically talk. They still have a place in this world, right? So I started interviewing more mutes, and I've interviewed a lot of mutes. In fact, some mutes have actually unmuted. I've interviewed Oathmeal originally when they were mute, and now they are a talker. There's many people from like Rafflegator's Lobby who were mutes, and now they're unmuted. Stuff like that. So I just think every interview is its own special moment, and to see the progression of people, like when I interviewed someone 2 years ago and then I interviewed them 2 years later, and now they're more confident in themselves, they're more larger. For example, I've interviewed Artsy probably 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah,
and,
they've been on a
way
few
back
times.
in the day, they weren't originally when I first met Artsy they were mute. If people didn't know that, they unmuted. Then they did like I guess you would call like the femboy, and then they came out as trans. So there's a huge like progression of people like that I've interviewed.
That's really cute. I love that as well, because you've been doing it for so long. You can see the change in people and where they've gone with what they've been doing. And yeah, Artsy's a great example, and I'm really happy that everything worked out for her and she's doing so well. Yeah, it's really cute.
Absolutely,
it's really cute. I would say, do you have like Is there like a single point in your streaming career where you decided that this is what you wanted to do, like long term, and that it's something that you wanted to dedicate yourself to? So did you just pick it up and think, I'm enjoying this, I want to do it? Or did you say, was there a defining moment in your life where you decided that streaming was the thing that you wanted to focus on?
When I first started streaming 4 years ago, it was just sort of like, because everybody else was doing it. To give a little more context, what I mean by that is, originally I was a YouTuber back in 2012 when I was 17.
I had no idea.
Now.
Do you still have your YouTube channel?
And I do, but
oh my God,
all the old videos I have, they're all privated. So the only thing that's actually on there is just my interviews, VODs. I did that on purpose because I feel like the videos I made practically 10 years ago don't really reflect who I am today. I'm not saying I did anything bad. I never did anything wrong. There's nothing TOS on there. It's just it's a different time. So let's say like back in 2012, somebody, and during one of my videos, I'll make a joke. And if you said that joke in 2021, you'd probably get canceled for things like that. Just, it's not me. It's just people I played with. I was playing a lot of online games and a lot of online lobbies.
We were all teenagers on the Xbox at one point, and that kind of conversation was just the norm, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I can't remember what videos people said what. I have like 1,400, so I was just like, so I can't remember who said what and did what and what can be taken out of context. So I decided I'm just gonna private them all, just keep them as like a time capsule for myself.
Yeah, you can always go back to them. That's cute.
But I did that for a couple years. I never like got anywhere. I had like 4,000 subs, which is like nowadays that's like nothing.
Yeah.
People get down like one day on YouTube. But anyway, that's all I really did, and I never really made any money or anything. It was just purely a hobby. And then in 2017 is when I played VR chat, and then when I joined Team 5, I told them I was a YouTuber, and they're like, why would you record for YouTube, dude? YouTube's dying, bro. And then they were just like stream instead. So I started that's how I got into streaming. I really just started streaming because they told me to, and they're like, just don't, like, because they're like, why would you sit behind a computer and slave away and like have to edit for like 10 hours a day? You can just stream, it's easier. So I was like, okay. But to answer your question, which was like, what was the defining moment, like, I want to do this? I would say last year, when the talk show started taking off. So I'd probably say, in June, July of 2020. So COVID started happening, and the lockdown started happening last year of 2020, and I was going to college. For office administration executive, and I was one semester in, and I was already been to college for like 4 or 5 years. This is like my second degree in a completely different field. But COVID started happening, and I had like 90s in my class. I was doing really well, and then they were like, oh, pandemic, we have to close the whole country up, you can't go to school anymore, it's online. Started taking it online, and I just did terrible, like absolutely. It was almost like a nosedive.
Yeah,
in grades.
Everyone learns differently,
so just like,
and it would have completely thrown you for a tangent. Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna wait for this pandemic to end, which it still hasn't. So I decided to be like, all right, I'm just gonna temporarily drop out of college until the world sets it back itself together, so I can then go back to school and actually go in class, which I don't even know what's going to happen even next year at this point.
Yeah, now no one knows, do they? Yeah.
But instead, so I just started just focusing on purely streaming the entire time. So I've just been streaming like nonstop. Like I'll just ramp up the interviews, ramp up everything. And ever since like basically like May of 2020, I've just been going crazy, just doing more interviews, and that's how I got partnered and where I am today. So I'll say that's the defining moment for me.
That's awesome. So, if you can go back into education next year or whenever, would you move away from streaming, or do you feel that this is now what you want to do? Like, what would you do?
Good question. So, right now, I'm just very fortunate to live with my brother and be able to do streaming as like a side thing, and be able to have just enough money to like afford rent and groceries and things like that. However, in a more realism type of look here, if streaming sort of doesn't work out, and I have to pay bills, I have to be able to support myself. If I cannot do that, then I will eventually probably go back to school or just find some job at like Walmart or something.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
back to the normie life. But hopefully it doesn't happen. If I continue to do really well and stuff like that, I'd love to do this full time. Absolutely. I mean, I'm technically because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Jobs are really hard to get right now, but I would love to continue streaming and to do this, because there's so many times I get to meet people and get to hang out and just have a fun time. It's like your dream job of just getting to meet people, get to have all this cool stuff. But life is tough right now, and you don't have enough money. You have to make the tough decision. Hey, I gotta cut back on streaming. I gotta go back to school, get an education, get that job, be able to pay rent. But we'll have to see. Like, who knows what the future holds. But I would say I'd love to continue streaming. But if it doesn't work out, then I'll go back to school, or work at Walmart, or insert X job or whatever. But I'll still stream though. I would still stream even if I worked at like a gas station or whatever.
That's nice.
I still feel like streaming is a part of me. I still would do it, even if it's for an hour or two.
I was gonna say we will lose like something very special if you stopped streaming altogether, because your talk show is something that is steadfast in this community, and everyone knows you and everyone knows it, and to lose that would be a sad day. So I hope no matter what happens in the future, you're still able to keep doing what you love. I really do. Yeah. God, you're really good at being interviewed. Oh my God. I can't imagine how you've got this much experience.
I mean, you talk to people all day, you kind of get used to it, I mean, even when I'm not doing interviews and I'm just going to like parties, like I went to a YouTuber party last night, like technically I was talking to people and it felt like an interview, but we're just sitting in a circle talking, like it's almost like I practice off stream all the time.
That's the joy of networking and meeting people and things.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it over to chat and see if chat have any questions they want to ask you, and we'll see what they think. So chat, the floor is yours. If you have anything that you wanted to ask the king of chat shows, now would be the time. This is a very rare opportunity, so I'm expecting you to make use of it. It's probably gonna be like, do you like the color blue? That's basically what I'm expecting to come out. Okay.
Yeah, I've gotten those type of questions.
Okay, can you think of any like question that a chat member has asked during an interview that was just ridiculous? Does anything come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of weird questions. I could give you a really extreme example. So, I was doing a mute podcast a couple months ago, whenever that was, and I had to filter questions. And there's a question that someone asked where it was like a paragraph long, and basically someone was like, "Yo, so how would you feel if like all these mutes like unmuted right now, and they were all dudes? Like, do you think they would lose their entire viewership?" I was like, "What kind of question is that?" So I just ignored it. There are weird questions where people will be like, "So how would you feel? Like, where do you live in the world? And how old are you?" And I'm just like, dude, people don't.
Yo,
that's
ASL.
not a question, okay? Yeah, what's your ASL? Where do you live? What's your social security number? And I'm like, you can't be serious. That's not a real question, right? Like,
Okay, I've got a few here. Dead Guy says, how did you meet Bunny? I don't actually remember how we met. We've been acquaintances for a long time. Like, I've known of you for like, I don't know, years, but I don't remember the first time we ever like really interacted. Like we were friended on VR chat. Like I haven't added them for the show, but yeah, we haven't really hung out as such because our time zones are so different, aren't they? Like I go to bed just Absolutely. As you kind of get up, so yeah, we never really get a chance to hang out or anything. But do you remember how we met? I honestly don't. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's probably before I did talk shows. I think it was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. All I can remember is how I met a lot of people.
Yeah.
How I met most people is when I still did the streamer lobby stuff. I remember before I did interviews, I would go to my world presentation room plus, and then I'll just make it like friends plus or friends, and then people would just filter in and just mingle around.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. Yeah, I think I met you in a Friends Plus one day. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I meet most people well, back in the day. But nowadays it's mostly I meet people off stream, and then I'm like, yo, what's going on, you know, and talk to them. Or at parties and events. That's usually how I meet.
I feel that it's easier to meet people off stream because you can just relax and you know that they're just genuinely interested in you, not in your stream, which is really nice. You don't have to worry that someone's just like they're insincere in their approach, you know, which you probably dealt with a lot in your past. Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I typically like to meet people off stream, because they don't feel like, oh, there's a stream of like 500 people watching, I have to do something silly to like entertain them or whatever. Like that's how I actually meet most of my guests nowadays. I will like message people and be like, hey, let's talk, and then I'll hang out with them like a couple times, like completely off stream. I get to know them, be able to formulate questions, and then I'll spring the question on them, like, hey, do you want to come on for an interview? And when they say yes, I'm like, okay, let's organize it. And then when I interview them, I already know them as a person, because I feel like if you bring on someone that you've never met before, you never talked to, and you just be like, hey, let's do an interview, you're gonna have very awkward moments.
Oh like, yeah, I'm expecting those.
They're gonna be like, no. So it's better to know your subject or know your person you want to interview before the interview.
Yeah, I feel like I am gonna have that problem like, during the show at times, but you know, it's an eventuality. And that kind of answered one of my other questions that chat asked. One of them asked, what do you need to do to qualify for your show? Like, what do you look for in an applicant? And I think that kind of covered quite a lot of it. I mean, if someone applies for your show, what are you looking for in their application? What makes them stand out from the crowd? Because you must get so many.
So when I first started doing interviews, I had a form and had an application process. I actually don't use that anymore.
Oh, you don't use it anymore? Interesting. Okay.
Why I don't use my application anymore? Well, imagine having like literally on this document like 300 names on it.
Yep.
And I was like, who the hell do I pick first? Or second, third, or fourth, or fifth, or sixth, or whatever. And I was just like, oh my god, like this is just overwhelming. So I basically scrapped the application process and basically just go for people that I find interesting, or people that I want to bring on my show. People would definitely still DM me and be like, hey, can I come on your show? But I don't know, I prefer me going after, like me messaging the person for the interview rather than them coming towards me. That's just the way I've decided to do it. And you know, after doing so many interviews, again, I would just meet the person, figure out who they are. Like I said, there's a process. Like, let's say this is my process. So let's say I find someone that I may potentially want to interview. It depends if they play VR chat or not. If they don't play VR chat, then I do a Discord interview. It's a little bit different, but for sake of this, we'll just say VR chat interview.
Yeah.
So I'll meet the person. I'll be like, hey, you know, I'm so and so. What's up? What's going on? I love your content and blah blah blah. I want to meet up and talk off stream. You know, and most of the people do know who I am, so that kind of helps me out. And I'll meet the person, talk to them, hang out. You know. Go to parties, go to events, you know, if there's someone new to VR chat, I'm able to show them around, have a fun time. And then after, let's say, like, it depends on the person, sometimes it takes longer. Let's say, like, after a week or two, you know, I keep talking to them, and then I'll be like, hey, you know, I run a talk show, would you be interested in coming on? They'll be like, absolutely, yeah, sure. Or if they say no, then I'll just be like, hey, we can still obviously be friends, let's just, you know, do other things, like play other games. So to me, if I don't get an interview, then I get a potential friend out of it regardless. So it's like a win-win. That's the way that I do my interviews now, and that's just, I don't know, just what's worked for me. Because also when I would do applications, well, just before getting partnered, I would do an interview almost every day. And doing like 30 or 40 interviews within like 40 days, like every single day doing an interview, my brain turned to mush. Like I felt like a zombie.
Yeah,
And
you it's burnout.
I literally
It's too
felt
much.
burnt out. I was 100% burnt out, and I was like, I don't like doing interviews anymore.
And that's never
So
the way
like
you want to feel.
so yeah, so right after getting partnered, I took like a mini hiatus, and then I very slowly was like, okay, I'm just gonna do an interview when I feel like it. And I mean, I still accept, like, if someone like asks me and I look into them and then I meet them and get to know them, and then potentially, so there is still like, don't feel like, oh, he has to message me. Like, no, if you still message me, I still will look at your stuff and still like think of the potential. It's just that I'm very slow, I guess, nowadays. Because I want to start focusing on VTubing stuff. I want to focus on the game show stuff. I want to do all these other things. But yeah, and just to let you know, just to tell everyone here, like, the requirements are, you don't have to be a streamer, by the way. You don't have to have 1,000 subs or 1 million viewers or anything like that. My show is never about, oh, you have to be the biggest streamer on the platform. It's never has been like that.
Yeah,
If
I
you
feel
actually
that's a
look at all
common
my interviews
misconception people make.
Yeah, I've done a lot of interviews with people that don't even stream. People that just make avatars, make worlds, make music, YouTubers, streamers, just people that roleplay. Like, I've interviewed a lot of different people that, like, some of them don't even have, like, well, I guess you would call clout, you know? So, it's just whoever I feel like interviewing, and it's just whoever, you know, tickles my funny bone. That's just how I am. And I know that a lot of people are like, I want to be on your show, I want to be on your show, but you got to realize that I'm a human being too, and I can't like do 1 million interviews.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like overwhelm myself and be like, because, you know, a common thing that happens is I'm just chilling, hanging out off stream, and I'm just like at a party drinking in VR, and
I know where this is
people
going.
come and be like, oh, hey, yeah. People are like, hey man, I want to come on your show, and I'm just like, oh dude, I just want to like relax, dude. I just want to drink some brewskis with the boys, and they're like, come on man, please. I'm just like, okay, relax, dude. Like, I'm just here to chill. Like,
yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. It's kind of one of the inherent curses of being successful at what you do is that, you know, in your spare time it will still like be a thing. Like a famous actor who walks down the street will always be bugged for like a photo or stuff. It's the same thing. Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, any last question? Yeah, go, you go.
But I will say that one of the like, game show ideas, which I've already talked about on my own stream, so it's fine if I mentioned it here.
Okay, cool.
Is I'm going to start doing improv. So instead of like an interview, basically I'm going to start doing improv. So just think of like whose line is anyway.
I
that's
love
something
that
for
shit.
everybody.
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel clouded or like, oh, he didn't pick me for an interview. I'm like, well, now you can join the improv show. So now you can be a part of that any week. Boom, there you go. So I'm gonna make content for everybody. Not just, oh, this person's partner. No, I'm not partner, so I'm not worthy. It's like, no, you can just show up and just do improv and have a fun time.
That'll be really good. I'm really interested to see what happens next year with your content. It's going to be good, regardless of what you do. I'm looking forward to it, though. Yeah, Flashy says that would be sick. I agree. I think it's going to be cool. And also that means you can have, like, because you'll be doing improv and stuff, you'll have more people. So you'll be able to cover a wider spectrum, you know, which is nice. Okay, is there any final questions you guys have that you want to ask? And then we'll wrap it up, because my tracker's dying. I'm running out of things. You okay?
Yeah, whenever I sit in a chair, my avatar derps out. It's just VR chat.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. We did as best as we could with the chairs, and generally they have been pretty okay. So, yeah, you look good though. You look good. I'm looking at you in the camera. You look good. So.
I should, you know what? I should examine this world. You know.
Yeah, feel free. Yeah, of course. You're welcome to wander around and have a look at everything. You should be able to use, I'm not sure if you can, I think this is local, like my cameras and the setup and stuff. But you're welcome to play around with it. I'll tell you how it all works. So, yeah. Okay, I'm looking at chat. Rebel, have you ever interviewed your mods?
No.
Oh,
well,
fuck. I'm in trouble. Have you interviewed one?
I've interviewed Pixel, which was one of my mods. but I at some point would like to. Yeah, I would love to interview my mods. Just make like a mod stream or just have all the mods on.
That's what we're looking to do. But I have like 14, so it's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be a fucking mess.
Oh, I don't have that many.
Oh my, it's gonna be a mess.
But
oh god.
at some point, it's just that I'm just like, there's a lot going on this month specifically. Like I just got a new like Dragon Girl avatar. I got the special skit thingamajiggy that I won't really be very ambiguous about.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay. Something's happening.
Stuff's going on.
I'm doing like a merch store. I got New Year's stuff with VR chat. Like I got a new world. Like I just got a lot of things on my mind. But eventually I will do a mod podcast at some point.
A mod pod. Oh, I call it mod pod. Woo! That's a terrible name. Okay. Okay, so the only other question here, which is, have you ever interviewed Lolathon? Is someone's asking.
No, I haven't. I'd love to though.
There you go. That's a nice easy one. That was easy. Okay,
yeah, call me up.
There you go.
Go in my DMs.
Someone send that to Lolathon. There you go. So
yeah, clip it and ship it.
Yeah, clip it and ship it.
Have them react to it.
In a golden postcard, sealed with the Mealy stamp. That'll be great. The Smash Brothers stamp. That'd be awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna run away and give you the floor to say anything you like. Obviously, all of Rebel's socials are below. Feel free to follow, like, do all these cool things these kids do these days, like subscribe and things, So I'm gonna run away, and whatever you want to talk about, the floor is yours. So I'm just going.
Absolutely. Again, my name is ThatOneRebel, better known as just Rebel. I do interviews. I stream almost every day. If you want to hang out, just follow me on Twitch. On Twitter, it's Rebel_VR, I believe. And I had a wonderful time here. And you know what? Honestly, you should follow VRC Bunny doing What the Puck, which is an amazing show. I mean, I really appreciate, him coming out and wanting to do another talk show and interviewing people and really being a part of, the talk show sort of atmosphere that we have here. Because I feel like there should be more game shows. I feel like there should be more shows, podcasts, stuff like that. I feel like VR chat has so much potential and like people are taking advantage of that. And I want to have more people like Bunny here, support him, follow him, literally use your Twitch Prime. I don't know, give him subs, support him as a content creator. If you want to see more cool stuff like this, hit the follow and hit that subscribe button. Get that hype train going,
you're so wholesome. Pebble, you're so wholesome. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute honor to have you on the show. Thank you for being my first ever special guest. And I hope you're the first of many. I hope in the future you'll come back again one day and you'll show us all the amazing new shiny things that you've been working on, and we can enjoy them all. I'm really looking forward to it. If you don't check out, if you've never seen Rebel's show, do go and check them out. It's amazing. It is the staple for VR chat and the VR community in whole. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. This has been nice. I've had a really nice day. What did you fucking... I did not expect that.
Not special, just for you.
Thank you so much, B. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for ThatOneRebel. Woo! Yeah! Crowd goes wild. This has been fun. Thank you so much for coming. See you later, Bean. Love you.